everyone, this is Keri TV. If you haven't seen this channel before, this is all the ins, outs, ups, downs, latest trends, hottest deals for buying, selling, and investing in real estate in Los Angeles. Every week we bring new information and the inside track to get you the best deals and the most for your home and the best investments in Los Angeles. So subscribe below and stay tuned. So you're in escrow on a house or you're selling your house. Here comes the fun part, negotiations over credits. Properties are sold as is, but are they really sold as is? And I've spoken before about this concept, how it's always written in the counter, even though it's part of the offer. People expect to get credits once you're in escrow. Now, I'd say most of the time there is some type of credit, even if it's very small, but normally there is some type of negotiation. However, it is not going to make or break the purchase price. There's people that say, okay, well, I'll offer X, but I expect to get this back. If you're going into an escrow, you have to go in expecting that nothing is going to be credited. Will it be? Possibly, but in this market, especially with the multiple offers and the choice that sellers have on who they want to buy their home and who's the most financially qualified, once you get into escrow, they're not usually fans of renegotiating. Now, you do have a better chance of getting them to negotiate on something once you're in escrow because they likely want to stay in escrow versus starting over. But one of the big myths is how to negotiate these repairs. Now, we're pretty good with getting about half of our request or maybe a quarter of it, but there are times where they come back with a big fat zero, and that can be a little daunting. There's also times where you wait until the last minute and you're about to close and you're still negotiating on repairs or credits, you don't come to terms, and then the buyer wants to walk or the seller doesn't want to sell it to them anymore. So the request for repairs is a big important part of the process, and it's really good to understand what it really means, what to expect, and how to frame it. So when I'm working with buyers, these are my suggestions when we're putting together a request. So these are like 3 tips to get a better response on the request for repairs. So the first one is the myth of going big. If we ask for more, if we offer lower, we'll be able to bridge the gap. So people think that if they come further apart, then it'll be easier to get back together. Well, I always say come as close to the number that you're expecting to get. If you come in too high and prices are inflated, the seller is going to look at the entire request as inflated over the top and not serious. They're then going to disqualify anything altogether, and they're going to lose respect for you in the deal. Anything that you bring to them after that, they're going to just say, well, you work with inflated contractors. So right off the bat, the negotiation is going to go nowhere. They're going to give you barely anything based on that. And then even when you go back and forth, you've left a sour taste in their mouth. Now, all these costs may be valid, which leads me into my second point, evaluating what's a safety concern and what's legitimate, and also what's older but not broken. So it's very common for people to want HVACs, water heaters, sewer systems to be replaced by the seller when they are not in fact damaged, when they're just older. Now, this is the biggest one. We constantly have buyers asking for credits on replacing systems when they're working. Now, if you own the home and you're there and everything's fine, why are you giving money for something just because it's older? If it's broken, it's another thing. And also you have your home warranty, which takes care of these types of appliances as well. So understanding that if it's the system's older or the item is not a big concern, it's not safety or health or like there's cracks in the plumbing or the roof's actually sagging, the seller is most likely not going to credit for that. The next point is that expecting the seller to be responsible for things. Going into escrow with the mindset that the seller has to fix things or will fix things is going to lead you to a path of disappointment. They really don't legally have to do anything. But also, the final point wrapping this up is really about the value. So if you're getting a property under market value, and you're asking for credits on top of that and they're denying it, don't feel like you're not winning because you didn't get that. You're already getting the house under market. So keep that in mind when you're going into escrow and understand how the process may be, and we're here to help frame it to try to get as much as we can. And of course, we always hope for the best, but the main thing is getting a home that you like and making sure that it's in good shape. So thank you for watching. I hope that's helpful. We've been dealing with requests for repairs for the last 2 weeks. It's been gnarly. We are becoming contractors at the same time. Cheers, guys. Tune in next week for more information.